Presidents say a lot of things, and President Trump has had much to say. They signed a lot of executive orders, and he's done that. They speak a lot about policy. He's offered many of those speeches. He has already made important changes to U.S. policy, some major, some minor, and some of it may have gotten past a lot of folks who try to pay attention to the news. So here we go, a quick review of all the stuff that President Donald Trump has done in his first 2 weeks as the President of the United States of America. On immigration, slashing refugee admissions, blocking people from 7 countries from entering the U.S. Trump suspended the U.S. refugee admissions program for 120 days until the end of May, and the Syrian refugee admissions program indefinitely. Trump blocked immigrants and visa holders from 7 majority Muslim countries, Iraq, Iran, Syria, Libya, Yemen, Somalia, and Sudan, from entering the U.S. for 90 days until late April. As a result, hundreds of people in transit were detained at airports and refused admission to the U.S. at least temporarily, with some being deported. After some turmoil, the government clarified that this ban would not apply to green card holders from those countries unless there was specific derogatory intelligence on them. On the issue of immigration, the U.S. is going to be deporting a lot more people under President Trump. Trump changed existing policy to require that every unauthorized immigrant caught crossing the border be detained. Before this change, many who were apprehended while crossing were then released into the U.S. to wait for scheduled asylum interview or court date. Now they will have to be either detained or quickly deported. Additionally, President Trump expanded the Obama administration's existing policy of prioritizing the deportation of unauthorized immigrants convicted of serious crimes. On the issue of abortion, Trump reinstated the global gag rule, a policy from previous Republican administrations that blocks federal funding from international family planning organizations that either provide abortion or discuss abortion services with their clients, as Emily Crockett put it. However, he also greatly expanded its scope. It now applies to not just to family planning, but to all global health organizations that get U.S. funding. President Trump put the nail in the TPP's coffin. As he promised, Donald Trump withdrew the U.S. from negotiations over the proposed Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal. This is no surprise to anyone who paid attention during the campaign, but it marks a major reversal from the Obama administration's strong support of the proposed agreement. President Trump announced a hiring freeze throughout the federal government except for the military and national security or public safety positions. Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan announced similar hiring freezes as they began their presidencies. On housing policy, in the final week of the Obama administration, the Department of Housing and Urban Development announced it planned to cut interest rates for federal housing administration-backed home loans by 0.25% in a few weeks. But when Trump first took office, his administration immediately suspended this planned rate cut, therefore blocking a move that would have made home loans for many first-time borrowers slightly less expensive. On healthcare, President Trump issued an executive order telling agencies to waive or grant exemptions from Obamacare fees and regulations, quote, to the maximum extent permitted by law, close quote. However, it is not yet clear how this order will be interpreted by the agencies and what impact it will actually have, so the future of health policy remains deeply uncertain. So there you have it. That's everything President Trump did in his first 14 days as President of the United States of America.
President's favorite speed?
Favorite speed, what, to drive in a car?
Just anything. For anything to happen, he likes what? He doesn't like things to happen slowly. He likes them to happen
very fast, very quickly.
Quickly.
Quickly. Quickly is the word, right?
It's very fun to say when you trumpet.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Quickly. Because when words become Trumpified, like a KLY, you might throw that away when you say, yeah, do it quickly.
Right.
Quickly.
Big league.
Bigly.
Bigly, which is not a word.
Big league.
Bigly.
Big league.
Bigly.
Big league.
It's not big league, it's big league.
It's big league, but everybody
It's
thought
not.
it was
It's big. It's
big league.
quickly.
Big league.
Big league.
Quickly. So quickly, what's the big league story of the day today on the Donald Daily Download?
You don't want to just say words like quickly?
If you give me another one, even one he hasn't said, I could tell you how he would. He said,
Okay,
like
one more.
How about like
Another one of my favorites?
Rip Van Winkle? He would say this. There's a guy, a fairy tale guy, Rip Van Winkle. He would give it to you that way.
And my favorite one that you say is, I'm going to take a drink of
Water. I like to take W-A-T-E-R. I like to put an R, wart.
Water.
I like to say water. Like someone gets a terrible, very unsightly wart on their finger. A water.
Those people who have the wart, what are they called?
Lepers.
They're called warders.
Oh, they're called warders. And they keep a lot of things in their apartment. They're warders and whores. They very quickly should be taken into custody.
You're probably wondering why I brought in the MAGA party hats.
I am very excited that you did.
And I brought in 72 candles and a layer cake.
Yep.
Because today is President Trump's birthday.
Such a lame version of the song.
It's a nice version. Stop it.
Come on.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to the healthiest president ever. Happy birthday to me who's saving the free world. Happy birthday to me who's married to Melania and you're not. How old are you now? Happy birthday to the guy with the nuclear football.
It's very nice.
He's 72.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Let's do
Give
it.
him a round. He's
Let's do
had a
that. Come
great
on.
week. Good job,
Studio
Mr.
audience? Yes.
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 MAGA, Brian.
MAGA.
Actually, I'm going to say Kaga from now on.
Kaga. I say caca.
No. Keep America great.
I'm going to say
Again.
caca.
Keep America great again.
You're going to
will
get a
ya?
hat that says caca.
No.
Hi, is this, confirm this is my polling? If this is my polling place, the name is Whitman. WHITMAN. I vote here every. Is it hot in here? I vote here every time. I've been not in this condition, which I want to explain. Are you the poll worker? As I was pulling up to the polling place, I got very disturbing news. I go to McDonald's a lot, and one of my friends who I eat lunch with, he is tested positive for COVID-19. And I think they're going to give me some. So please just give me my ballot, because the president said I have to vote. Okay, hold on a second. Just give me a second.
No, sir, please don't take off the masks.
Well, by hook or crook, I'm gonna vote.
There was someone who seemed to be taken with the president. If you missed it, it went like this.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
I have to say, you have a great smile.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, he does. You're so handsome when you smile. Okay.
If
Thank
you want
you.
to
I
get a
love you
little
too.
closer to it, I have full droplets right here. If you just pick her up, I have so many droplets.
Okay,
And they're the greatest droplets, and I offer them right here. Full coronas, full droplets. Come here.
Smiles are better from a distance.
So I have an observation because you have taught me one thing. I think working with you these last 42 years, right? We've been together. Oh, wait, it just feels like that.
A little less than that, but I'm
Was it over or under 42? I don't remember.
over, actually.
So these last few years, one of the things I get to laugh and listen to you do your amazing voices, and I love to call you the man of a million voices. You make me laugh, and you do a great Trump. And yes, people, even if you're a Trump fan, you can laugh at Brian's impressions. It's okay. It's funny.
Yeah, they're never rooted in politics. Well, I do the voice if they strike me as a character to do. Bill Clinton, Trump, whatever.
Well, one of the things that I do now, I think because of you, is I really listen in closely to things. Did you catch something that needs to be added to one of your Trumps? Listen here. Let's see if you can figure it out.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
I have to say, you have a great smile.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
Gotcha.
he does. You're so handsome when you smile.
Gotcha.
Okay, did you hear? It's not the gotcha.
Oh,
That's
it's
very
not?
funny.
It's a
but
gotcha
listen
moment.
to how and I've heard him do this before, like in rallies when like the crowd starts chanting, "We love you," or like, when
Well, he takes a beat.
he actually, like, as much as people want to say he's just arrogant, I think in some ways he's humble, and I think there's a little bit of shyness that he overcompensates for.
I agree with you.
And so listen to this. When he's getting complimented by this woman, he kind of makes this guttural,
I get coquettish.
and he does it.
I'm sure
He
I
does
get-
it when they do that, when they do the chant at the rallies. I've heard it before. Listen, you'll hear it at the very end. You'll hear him go,
Good evening, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
I have to say, you have a great smile.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, he does. You're so handsome when you smile. Okay.
Did you hear it? You added
Thank
into
you. I
it.
love you
But
too.
that's kind of what it is.
I said, well, it's all about taking what he does or she does and exaggerating it with an impression or whatever your impression might be. I take the little things and they're gigantic. So it becomes falling on her with full droplets.
Start with some breaking news. Whitman.
We do.
Don't you think? I mean, this really deserves
this-
it. It qualifies.
absolutely.
Breaking news.
We just learned about an hour ago from the Presidential Debate Commission that without consulting either campaign, they didn't let Vice President Joe Biden know, they didn't let President Trump know, they decided to make the upcoming presidential debate on October 15th all virtual. They would have the town hall participants and the moderator in Miami, Florida as planned, but President Trump and Joe Biden would not be there. They'd be somewhere at home, I guess, working from home. President Trump, who found out about this at the same time all of us did because there was no consultation here, was on with Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business and said, I'm not doing that.
I won't do it. I won't do it. It's not a real debate, and I've demonstrated I know what real debates are like.
He does?
So,
yeah, he did? And this is what he had to say just about 20 minutes ago.
I heard that the commission a little while ago changed the debate style, and that's not acceptable to us. I beat him easily in the first debate, according to the polls that I've seen, but I beat him easily. I felt I beat him easily. I think he felt it, too. He wouldn't answer any questions, and he had the protection of Chris Wallace all night long. It was I thought Chris Wallace was a disaster, but I beat him in the first debate. At the second debate, we have a never Trumper as a host, but that's okay because I beat him in the second debate also.
COVID. Heard some COVID.
And but I'm not going to do a virtual debate. No, I'm not going to waste my time on a virtual debate. That's not what debating's all about. You sit behind a computer and do a debate. It's ridiculous. And then they cut you off whenever they want. I have a host who I always thought was a nice guy, but I see he's a never-Trumper. Came out that he's a never-Trumper. We do have some of them, Maria, believe it or not, because they don't like to win. But I'm not doing a virtual debate.
Quiet, Maria.
They
quiet.
didn't even tell us about the debate, Maria.
So you just learned this morning?
Yeah, we learned it the same way you learned it. They called up 2 minutes ago, and it was announced. And they're trying to protect Biden. Everybody is. They're trying like that NBC disaster where he went on the show with Lester Holt. It was meant for a child.
Well, he's not wrong about that.
Oh, come on. He's had a tough week. I mean, I do think, and if we can get a doctor about how, because COVID does, we talked about it, have a mental component.
Come on, look, he sounds great and totally normal, by the way. You may think he normally sounds mental, but he sounds like President Trump.
Well, it's a really weird thing to now be saying, and you did hear the COVID. It was like,
you know what? I'm not going to do a debate like that. I mean, I proved it. I beat Joe. I know what real debates are like. I don't know what to do it, Maria.
He hasn't had symptoms. He hasn't had a fever in like 5 days. He's doing fine.
You've said for years we can hear things differently. That's what I heard. I like Lincoln Douglas. So I'm not doing a debate like that.
Let's listen to it again. Let's see if we can hear that. Hold on.
I heard that the commission a little while ago changed the debate style, and that's not acceptable to us. I beat him easily in the first debate, according to the polls that I've seen, but I beat him easily. I felt I beat him easily. I think he felt it, too. He wouldn't answer any questions, and he had the protection of Chris Wallace all night long. It was I thought Chris Wallace was a disaster. But I beat him in the first debate. At the second.
You know what? You're right, Whitman.
I do hear that.
Sorry.
And now,
whoa, hold on. Let me go back to that again.
Well, I heard that the commission a little while ago changed the debate style.
Excuse me, Maria. So that's just going to be the. I'm not going to debate. Hold on, Maria. Look, I was going to tell you. Hold on. I'm not going to debate and do this like this.
Trump on C-SPAN, it's like he's on like Quaaludes or something. Right. He's very mellow. Seriously. He was asked about CNN.
Yeah.
And, he hates...
In front of the helicopter, what would he say about CNN?
CNN is the worst. I mean, it is totally fake news. You can't believe any of it. None of it is real. And they're horrible. Do you hear me back? Horrible people.
Okay, now on C-SPAN, what would the president say about CNN?
This is CNN.
I understand that CNN, they're in business. They don't like me. They say things sometimes about me that are negative.
That's very good.
That's exactly what he said.
In front of Walter Reed Medical Center, when he's giving an update, what would he say about CNN?
On Melania's kidneys?
Yeah.
He would say that Melania and I talked about fake news when I sat at her bedside and inspected her kidneys at the
Walter Reed Medical Center.
So Helicopter Trump appears this morning right here live on the Morning Answer.
We need a doctor, please. A doctor, please.
Today.
Do we have a doctor?
Hey, you know
doctor
what?
in the house, please.
A year can change a lot. Last year he's asking for the doctor. This year he can't get far away from Fauci and the other doctors.
Today marks the 1-year anniversary since President Trump and Nancy Pelosi have spoken a word to each other.
Nancy, it's not please don't laugh. Oh, Nancy.
Now, I don't know if they're going to get each other like a cake. I don't know. What do you give someone for the first year anniversary?
I saw Miss Manners, the etiquette queen. She said, and the first anniversary is like you get a gift, a nice warm glass of I'm never talking to you again.
Yeah, so today, Friday, marks a full year since Speaker Pelosi and President Trump actually have spoken to each other, and I think the president is actually pretty excited about that.
Yes, Jennifer?
See, I think he's happy he doesn't have to deal with old fancy Nancy because, she's not quite,
Now, I have a few. Nancy, it's not funny. Please don't laugh. I have a few relationships in my life or non-relationships where it got to the point nobody talks to anybody, which is odd for a guy on the radio, but we're talking with.
Right.
Folks, okay, so if two people are not talking to each other, is it more the fault of one person than the other?
Well, if they're not talking to me, it's their fault. If it's somebody else, it might be both of them. I don't know.
I feel about the same way, actually.
Thank you, Brian.
Oh,
in other news, President Trump heading off to Davos as his impeachment trial set to get underway Tuesday.
I sort of have to go to Davos. Because, they say, if you can't take the heat, go to Davos.
That, of course, is in Switzerland. I mean, I think it's one of the farthest places you could actually go from Washington, D.C.
So weird.
Well, no, I'm not being weird. I think it's a geographically sound analysis.
Where do you think Switzerland is on the map?
Well, look, I can tell you it ain't New York. It's not, a few hours, a 5-hour drive away. It certainly is not.
No, you cannot drive. I will confirm, no fake news here. You cannot drive from Washington, D.C. to Davos.
We have to start the plane.
It just wouldn't go well.
Get that engine humming. I gotta get out of here.
So really, do you think it's a coincidence that on the eve of the impeachment trial in the U.S. Senate that the president, suddenly finds a reason to go to Davos?
It's not a reason. It's the World Economic Forum. It's not like he set it up overnight to escape.
And when has he ever cared about meeting with our allies?
Last year.
I mean, he went last year.
Sure, if I have to go, but this year I really don't want to go, but it's
January.
I want to go. I totally want to go.
So the president will be going tomorrow, not out of office. I mean, there's been no conviction in the Senate impeachment trial.
Correct.
However, we don't even know how long the trial will last because we don't even know if they're going to allow witnesses. May I just one brief, and then I don't have much legal analysis to give. I truly don't. I know my place. I know my role. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a legal scholar. I'm none of that. But I do know one thing. On the People's Court, Judge Joseph Wapner, if you brought in a witness who said you didn't throw the baseball through the windshield, Judge Wapner would shut everything down.
Only sometimes. Wapner sometimes didn't like the ones that would get mouthy.
It didn't.
Remember?
Look.
He'd say, sit down.
Hey, there's one thing you have to do to get mouthy. Open your mouth.
But you know what? Actually, okay, if you want to simplify this to Wapner terms.
I'm not simplifying. I think it's sound analysis.
Who's the divorce court lady now?
Marilyn Milian. She, by the way, just
Milian. That's right, Judge Milian.
She is the roadshow Judge Judy. She just wants to yell at people.
Oh, please.
It's all true.
I like her. She's been on for years. But my grandmother liked her.
I understand that.
God rest her soul.
Point is, Judge Wapner, listen to the witnesses.
Okay. Yes. If they actually had facts, if they were actually there. When it was some Yahoo, and we all remember the guy who would stand up and say, well, Your Honor, I think that, and he'd say, what did you see? Well, I didn't see anything, but I think, sit down.
Sit down,
and he'd say,
sir.
Rusty, what is Donald Trump thinking today? Whitman in your impeachment jacket. This is, what? 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11. We're 5 hours from this vote happening. So what's he thinking today? What's he doing?
A little improv. Where is he?
He's in the White House. State of the Union's over. He's preparing his remarks to read after the vote today.
Okay, and he's in the residence? How close?
Let's say he's in the Oval Office at his desk.
How close is he to the vote happening? When's the vote going to happen?
It's 5 hours. 5 hours.
So
and he's preparing his remarks that will be read after. And Mick Mulvaney's outside.
This is him.
Maybe a little kel. Here we go. Scene.
All right, Mick!
Yeah.
How much time? I mean, when do they vote? I mean, I
4.5 hours, sir.
4.5. Did you hear that, Kellyanne?
Yes, sir. Yeah. 4.5 hours. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
My God, she's so stupid. But she wins elections. It's unbelievable. I have to write a letter to my first wife, Ivana. Dear Ivana, you are my first true love. And the namesake of my daughter, the very sexy Ivanka. I will always love you, and on this, the day that my presidency is born anew, with a Senate acquittal, you are never far from my thoughts. Dear Ivana, I know it's impossible that you've run out of all of the money that I gave you in the settlement, but my love for you is like a Trump University class action lawsuit. It never ends. Love, the Donald.
And see. He's going to do rallies to present some of his evidence to the American people, and they will include the president reading the obituaries of some of the people who voted for Joe Biden.
Here will be.
All right, so it's so great. Lock her up, right? It's fantastic. It's so great to be here rallying after defeat. It's fantastic. You're great people. I want to say that I have here the obituaries from the San Diego Union Tribune. It's so bad, okay? Maureen Lechner, 84, leaves behind 3 grandchildren, 2 children, and she was a seamstress. It's so bad, and they did what they had.
Cent is the latest to endorse Donald Trump in the Donald Daily Download. Apparently, he took a look at the tax plan that is being thrown around by the Biden campaign, and he said that he'd be voting for President Trump because of it.
The rapper 50 Cent.
Yeah, this was his direct quote. I don't know if this is
I want to hear it.
A usual endorsement.
Well, no, I mean it's a celebrity,
and it's a family show, so keep in mind I'll be bleeping myself.
Expletives deleted for broadcast.
What the blank? Vote for Trump.
I agree.
I'm out. Blank New York, the Knicks never win anyway. I don't care. Trump doesn't like black people. Are you out of your mind?
Okay, thank you. 50 Cent, one of the great men of the music industry.
And then Trump was asked for a response. He said,
well, it was remarkable because people think Trump's bad. I said, 50, consider my platform for just a little bit. My tax cuts, my military increases. Think about it a little bit. How I'm putting America first more, just a little bit. Saying no to the world health, just a little bit.
Well,
and then he took me to the candy shop, and Melania was there. We had a great time.
And you partied like it was your birthday, right?
Yes.
You sip a party because it's your birthday.
Yep, it's your birthday. Go, Melania. It's
I like the song. Meant hydroxychloroquine for the Trump derangement syndrome, or was it? I mean, how did you?
It was not TDS. It was not Trump derangement syndrome.
That wasn't your diagnosis. Okay.
It was BOS, Biden obsession syndrome. So
okay.
I'm a boss.
All right,
I'm
I
a
gotcha.
boss.
You're a boss.
Not a TDS.
Right, so Whitman took the hydroxychloroquine.
And Trump was there. They sent me to the Walgreens in the lab coat. And
he prescribed for you, right?
I said, I'm just here. I have a little bit of anxiousness. And he said,
have you tried cyanide?
Oh, did he bring out the swab?
I said, you're not a pharmacist. And he said, and you are? And I thought, I don't think we're going to get anywhere.
By the way,
with this.
a great point by the president. I mean, if he's not maybe, but are you?
Well, I'm rooting for it. I would like
that was out. Oh my gosh.
I'm rooting for it. Exactly right. I mean, I feel good about it.
Right. But why? I feel good about hitting the lottery tomorrow. But why? I have no reason. But I don't know odds or not. Why
by the way.
But that's crazy talk.
He was vindicated, and our studio audience loves that. Is our studio audience sitting in an airplane?
Our studio audience is a little close to the studio today.
We're not social distancing. Okay, this is better.
Think golf.
Wow.
Think
Hold on.
of.
Let's see.
Think of.
Airplane audience?
Too much. It's like the degrees of Trump. That's
Nice
it.
audience.
Nice and soft, and thank you very much. I see you're all social distancing, and now he's gotten away from that. I see you're all doing human pyramids, and it's great that you're on top of each other. It's wonderful. So great. We're going back to normal, and it's great. But
But he was right. That's the point.
But come on now.
That study that came out from Lynch, they actually had to acknowledge that the president was actually right and that these surveys were wrong about hydroxychloroquine killing you. And the media, did they talk about it?
It killed the one guy who took, a canister
He
of
was
them.
eating fish tank cleaner.
Well, and I think some hydroxychloroquine as well.
I mean,
look, there was some issues there. I'm not gonna.
And by the way, his wife may have killed him. You remember that part of the story,
Look,
right?
I'm no one to judge. I don't know how many hydroxychloroquine he had or Flintstones
By the way, I
vitamins.
made you this cup of steaming hot hydroxychloroquine. One shot.
I'll pass. Thank you. There's plexiglass in between.
Does it look delicious?
You know what? Just sip a little bit of it and get very comfortable, right? You feel okay, right?
Put your feet up.
Scooch up in your chair now?
Why don't you lay down in this roll of carpeting?
So if I tell you, speaking of Trump and hydroxychloroquine, if I tell you that on Saturday, it's going to be exactly the high of 92 degrees and it's going to be sunny until 3 o'clock, and for a half hour, there'll be rainfall, a sun shower, and then the sun will come back. But I have no meteorological credentials, which you might ask, why do you do the AccuWhitman?
I was going to say, you do that every day.
It's a bit.
But I have no scientific knowledge or credentials to say it, but I get lucky and I'm right. Am I then a
or
genius?
you read the news and you just pass it on. I don't think Trump was trying to be a genius. He just read encouraging studies about hydroxychloroquine and reported on them.
I just feel good about it.
He felt like it was good. He took it.
And you know what?
So what do you say, sir, to the people who are looking for...
I see you're a terrible reporter. I mean, just feel good about hydroxychloroquine.
Well, there are some people feeling really good about cocaine.
But I just feel very good about hydroxy.
When he started calling it hydroxy, then I had to get out.
Well, it was the street name.
When you start to get... Michael Jackson is evidence of this. When your medications or drugs of choice, when you have...
I love my milk.
When you have a nickname for your item,
Right.
your substance, that's a problem.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
But the hydroxy is sort of like great.
And I don't know to what extent they're prescribing it now, but
they still are, actually.
If he finds a warm body, a clinician, very clear, who writes one script for it, they're in the Oval Office.
But he's actually stopped talking about it, and and really the science journals had to come out and say, we have this wrong. It's not going to hurt you. It's just the idea is if it's prescribed in the right combination and at the right time, it can be helpful to a lot of people.
So if it has no effect, it's a placebo in a way.
I mean, it does have for a lot of people, and they were prescribing in New York. They were putting together this cocktail of zinc, hydroxychloroquine, and azithromycin, and it was helping shorten the duration of people who were having the coronavirus.
I'm like a regular Marcus Welby over here.
That's right. It's just you mix it all together. Again, he was out of his basement and made a gaffe. Imagine that. He talked about the numbers of people, the millions of Americans who have been infected with COVID. Take a listen.
Unnecessarily, now we have over 120 million dead from COVID.
Ooh.
Oh, boy. Swing and
Wait,
miss.
let me hear that one more time.
Unnecessarily, now we have over 120 million dead from COVID.
Strike! Joe, lead with the good news, man.
But here's the
Make
deal.
it up.
We don't have 120 million.
I understand that. Look, it's like the convention. Don't get bogged down in the numbers.
Yeah. Well, President Trump was with Hannity yesterday.
Saw
and
that, yeah. I
heard about this gaffe.
Oh, no.
And commented on it, saying that the news media would have never let him go for making a mistake like that one.
I want to be a nice guy. I think I am a nice guy. I'm proud of being. I love people.
Yeah.
But my most important job is to run this country great. I built it once so great. Turn it off. Now we're doing it again. And it's happening.
And you're ready to roll.
It's going to be better than ever. But here's the thing. I've got to do that, folks. This is serious business. We can't have somebody. That's a mistake. That's not a mistake. That's a serious error. When he says he's running for the U.S. Senate, that's a serious error. When he says, I'm going to beat Joe Biden, which got very little coverage, that's not like an error. Gee, it's a slip-up.
Right.
It's a serious error.
Right.
So when you just told me that, I hadn't heard that just happened, I guess.
Yes, it did.
That's a serious error. That's not a permissible type of error because there's something going on. And we can't take that. It's wonderful to say, gee, I feel sorry, or it's too bad, because I do. Except we're talking about the presidency of the United States, and it's just not acceptable.
I mean, Sean, you got to understand, It's like a serious error. This is not grounder to the shortstop in between his legs off to left field kind of error. This is like a really big, like, you don't know the warning track is there error. It's sort of like the era of huge errors in that era. Error.
Give me a Kennedy.
Error.
Error. I mean, it's sort of like a big Ted Kennedy driving error.
Error.
Error. I mean, this is not grounded to third, and he bobbles it over to first. Well, the throw is high and the runner is safe. This is not that. This is like very big deal error.
And to correct the former vice president, not 120 million people have died in the country from.
About to hit me with a frying pan, but
Which I think I'm ready. I've thought about it.
You know what? I'm not afraid of you.
I thought about it, Whitman. You know what? Enough of this.
He did
You're
not.
always going after this Trump, making jokes.
He mentioned the wall.
Please.
And
you know what?
What did he leave out? He left out who's paying for the wall. He didn't say.
You know who's paying for the wall? You're going to pay for the wall. How do you like that? And you know what? You keep running that smart mouth of yours, you're going to pay for it again. You hear me? You are going to hear.
Hey, Ben, come on now. Take it easy on me.
My voice is too deep.
Jennifer, don't hit me with it. We are at work.
You know what? And you know what?
No.
All of my friends. No. Don't say their name. That one was for you, Ben.
And this is for the other one.
Ow! Oh. How about that? How you feeling now?
Dizzy.
How you like me now?
I feel vulnerable. But you notice he's not screaming about Mexico paying for the wall. The wall.
Well,
don't you remember my love, the wall?
I do remember, actually. I don't know if it sounded quite like that.
Is there a wall now between you and our President Trump? Because he really did make it a big, and
I'll tell you, Mexico is paying for the wall, because guess what we also have? In addition to a big, beautiful, secure wall, we also have.
You have a check? I want to see
the USMCA. That stands for the United States, Mexico, and Canada trade deal.
Now I'm going to hit myself.
And you know what?
Now I'm knocking myself out.
And thank you, Mexico. I think this cast iron skillet was made there.
I had to do it because the last thing I remember you saying was that they've paid for the wall because of the trade.
They will for this trade agreement, sure.
Okay, the story on who's paying for this wall changes with every season. There's 4 seasons in a year because you remember.
Kind of like a Russian hoax, right? The story just keeps changing. It evolves.
Interesting that the president, in one clip in Colorado yesterday, would talk about hoaxes that the, quote, extreme left are perpetuating hoaxes.
Let's just talk about Adam Schiff and his cronies.
And then he gets to the wall and he talks about the wall. And seriously, folks, I mean, if we're going to be all honest with each other, the biggest promise of his campaign was, I'm building a wall between the U.S. and Mexico. And guess what? Mexico is paying for it. And then when someone would say, they're not, in Mexico, Vicente Fox would say something and he would say, the wall just went up in price by $10 billion.
Right. That was just fun against Vicente Fox. But here's the thing. Let me ask you this.
You know what's not fun? No. You know what's may I? And then you can hit me?
Fine.
What's not fun is telling taxpayers that another country is going to pay for a wall to keep people from other nations out, and then there's no proof. The government of Mexico said, we're not paying for that
Get
wall.
Ready.
Okay.
Oh, you fainted.
See? Backwards. Just
You
spray.
were so scared you fainted first.
You know what?
I'll tell you right now. Is there a wall being built? Just yes or no, because I've got to do this.
Yeah, there is.
Okay. And did we renegotiate our trade agreement with Mexico so that it's more fair for the United States? Yes or no?
Yes, but you're in the
Thank you. So now President Trump has delivered on another message.
Okay, thank you for joining us here on Fox News. We report you decide at the White House on, that's a great couch. It's the president's couch, that's the one. That's like my couch only. Well, it's indeed an honor and a privilege to be here, Mr. President, for 4 years. For 4 years, you've led a nation with many challenges. And you want people to get out and vote. And what do you remind them of?
Well, Sean, what I remind them of is that
had so many, you're right, I mean, we've had so many challenges. The challenges were before, even like before I won the election. You remember, you were there, you remember what the challenges were like. Oh yeah, they were terrible. Okay, Sean, that's enough. I want people, when they think about whether or not they're going to vote, it's like they have to think of, I hate to say it, but think of COVID. I mean, think of this China virus and think of all it's done. And when they vote for me, as I'm your favorite president, I love when you do that, they're going to vote for me, and then down the ballot, there's other people. And you don't know who they are because they're like, you don't know them, but they're like Democrat, and they're running for Congress, and they're in local government, and you don't know them. And you think, oh, well, this guy, Jack Swanson or whatever, he looks like a great guy. So you vote for him. But you don't know he's bad. Democrat bad. And on his own, he might not be such a bad guy. But then he gets to the swamp, and he has Nancy Pelosi. She's like a comorbidity. Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. No, I do, sure. And I want to say it's like, think about it like COVID. I mean, you vote for a Democrat, you're like regular guy or regular gal, and they get there, Nancy Pelosi, that's one comorbidity. And then Chuck Schumer is a second comorbidity. You have like 2, and then AOC plus 3. So that's 4, that's 6 comorbidities, and that's going to really impact the mortality rate. I mean, forget Fauci. You know what I mean, Sean? I don't know. But when you count these votes, I don't know who these bad people are. But you can't go like Trump, 10, 9, 8. You have to 10, 11,
really
12. I mean, we have to
for.
increase the numbers. It's so bad. It's like Casey Kasem is counting them all the way down.
Let's practice this one more time. Can we do a final countdown, Katie? Is this possible?
Oh, Rick D says we go. We're coming in at number 5, now down to number 4.
No, Rick, go from 5 to 6 and to 40 million and keep going.
What the Harry Reid machine has done is throw out recklessly ballots, and now they don't want us to check those ballots, and we are seeing discrepancies all over.
So bad.
We are asking Clark County to give us answers.
And what the fundamental principle is here is that we want to be able to make sure that the counting that occurs and that the results that happen should be respected by every American voter across this land and truly across the world. If you're not allowed in to see the process, both sides, and all of you in the media, so that there's transparency, so that there's meaningful observing of these ballots, that calls into question what those results will be.
That is Matt Schlapp.
Look, you'll see it, right? I mean, you don't have to be blind or not have ears. My guys get on the camera to say they're counting illegal Sleepy Joe ballots.
And you hear
then trucks, they come out of nowhere and they try to run the guys down.
It's really quite terrible.
It's so bad. It's like the worst thing.
You heard it. I mean, you guys want evidence of fraud? There it is. Garbage
trucks. Wisconsin,
check
they said they're counting in their head.
So we were talking about, what was the word that you were just talking about?
Well, I was talking about how when President Trump, a great guy, will honor other business people, and men usually, because I always say he is a great man of industry.
Industry, that's
right.
That one always makes me laugh. Industry. And of course, and don't get crazy about the politics, because Newsom gets it all the time from us because he shouts out his cohorts and his toggling and dimming all the time.
Right. He kind of makes words and tries to get them into the lexicon, but at least he pronounces them correctly.
Well, not so fast, Brian. I mean, you, by the way, Whitman.
What about me?
You're not one of the great guys of the broadcasting industry.
The one that I like now, though, and I pointed out to you, is that we've been hearing since, because of the COVID pandemic and treatments and therapeutics and all that, we've heard a lot about things that can help you if you get the coronavirus. Right. And one of the things that President Trump likes to talk about is the transfusion of blood.
Plasma.
Right.
So when I was talking to one of these guys at Merck Laboratories,
and he runs it. He's one of the great men of industry. And I said, my Lysol idea got beat down by Dr. Birx. What can we do? I thought it was a great idea. And being one of the great guys of industry, he said, well, I think your answer lies in 6 simple letters. I said, oh, tell me. And he said, plasma.
Plasma.
And I said, plasma is great. I love plasma. And I believe that if we put enough good plasma in people who are sick, that the good plasma will declare war on the bad plasma. And may I say, in conclusion, in my earlier adult years, I loved the song Rock the Casbah.
That's good. Do you think that there's going to be, Mr. President, a booming plasma industry? Or?
Well, I believe that the time is right, and the moment in time is right for someone. He would have to be a great man of industry to link the need for healthy, not sick, not dark like Joe Biden, healthy, light plasma, link it with the need, and henceforth become a great man of industry.
Really, sir? Are you from another planet with the way you talk to us?
I love it. Those two are my favorite words, I think, other than water.
Water. I had to talk,
Jennifer, you make me laugh.
I had to talk a lot in recent weeks about water because we had some hurricane issues. So I lock up when I say water.
He did this in the first hurricane he screwed up. When was that? Oh, yeah, that was 2017. And he was there, and behind him was not a color radar Whitman weather graphic or even something that my colleague Dallas Raines would use. It was like a piece of oak tag paper, and it had Puerto Rico, or something that generally looked like the island of Puerto Rico sketched on there with pictures of water. And President Trump on a live mic, by the way, doing a presentation, got to the point where he had to describe the hurricane. That's when I turned the volume up. And I heard,
we are dealing with tremendous amounts of water, wet water, running water, a lot of water.
At that point, somebody came in and said, yeah, hi, I'm a meteorologist. Anyone?
What? What do you want?
Okay. It's just because I'm in a lot of pain today.
Well,
that's why.
Plasma. You're making us laugh through it.
There he is.
There he is.
Plasma.
Plasma.
It sounds like, if you remember from the 80s, the nighttime weekly soap opera called Dynasty with Crystal Carrington and Alexis Trump. I forget her last name, but it's fine. Alexis, whatever.
She was just Alexis, like Madonna.
Right, and Regis. She would talk, if she said plasma, it would come out like that. And I, having been New York royalty with Ivana, my first wife, who I said, hey, Ivana, divorce, so you got to get out of here. We talked often of plasma.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, I like Schumer. I like Schumer. I like Schumer.
I like Schumer.
I want to whisper it. I like Schumer.
I like Schumer.
I like Schumer.
I like Schumer.
And you like Nancy Pelosi too, right?
Correct.
Okay, but mostly you like Schumer.
I like Schumer.
I like Nancy. I like Chuck and Nancy. I like Nancy, and I like her friend.
I like Schumer.
So they're getting together. This is not the first time President Trump has huddled with Chuck and Nancy.
It's the sequel.
Oh, it was, a couple of years ago here on The Morning
I
Answer?
think maybe last year sometime.
Okay, when Donald, Chuck, and Nancy made its debut. Funky Cold Medina.
Love it.
Do you remember that song?
Of course. I remember it. It's my ringtone, please.
I would put together a parody song called... instead of Funky Cold Medina, it'd be called
Donald, Chuck, and Nancy.
So weird.
That's what it would be.
That's what it would be.
Are you going to give us a little bit? You're going to show us your rapping chops?
And I'm looking for some legislation. But like Ronald Reagan said, I can't get no satisfaction. The Dems are all around, but none of them want to get with me. My threads are French and I'm looking deaf. Yo, what's up? Look at what Melania says.
This is my favorite day
Dems
ever.
are always jacking at the other end of the bar, having drink with a loser like Schumer when they know that I'm the star. So I got up and strolled over to the other side of the Capitol Grill. I asked the guys, why are you so fly? They said, Donald, Chuck, and Nancy. You know what I'm saying? I got every dog in my neighborhood breaking down my door. Donald, Chuck, and Nancy.
All right. There it is. Morning Answer flashback. Oh, the crowd.